This program contains material that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Bad drivers are everywhere. When they hit the gas, every rule of the road goes right out the window.
That's unbelievable.
You never know where they'll come from or what will send them into overdrive. But one thing's for sure. Most drivers who think they're king of the road don't know if they're coming
I don't believe it.
or going. It's enough to drive a person right over the edge.
Call 911 for me.
So park it right there and watch these drivers, because they're all out of control. Hold on to your seats. It's going to be a smash. It's a typical day inside this family bakery. Customers enjoy pastries while employees work behind the counter. Little do they know what's about to hit them. Workers dodge the oncoming car while customers are thrown from their chairs. Incredibly, no one is hurt. Rescue workers arrive on the scene, and the owner vows to rebuild his bakery. 4 years later, business is back to normal, and the accident is a distant memory. Then, from out of nowhere, unbelievably, a second vehicle loses control, smashes through the front window, and skids through the bakery. Once again, nobody is hurt. But one thing is clear. Working at this bakery isn't a piece of cake. This man is about to experience a serious case of déjà vu. The car stops just inches from the owner, but instead of running, he shakes his head in disbelief. Why? Because this isn't the first time a car has crashed into his dry cleaners. A year earlier, a vehicle plowed into the front counter and almost pinned a customer. But that's not all. A year before that, a nearly identical crash occurred. If history keeps repeating itself, this dry cleaner may want to make a clean getaway. And move to a new location. It's after 3 a.m. when police pull over a suspected drunk driver.
You're having a little trouble keeping it on the road. Sorry, you about ran off the road twice. See how much you have to drink.
A field sobriety test confirms their worst suspicions.
You had too much to drink.
They arrest the driver and call a police van to take him in. But this pullover is far from over. Amazingly, a second drunk driver swerves around the police cruiser and plows into the first car. No one is hurt, but this is a sobering reminder that officers can face danger at any turn. In Wichita, Kansas, an angry driver takes his complaint straight to City Hall. The motorist plows through doors on the east side, barrels through the elevator lobby at 45 miles per hour, smashes through security, and then exits through the west side doors before crashing into a parking garage. Police believe the driver became angry when he was a few blocks away, and officers told him to turn down his car radio. Following his drive through City Hall, his next trip is straight to a city jail. A cabbie in West Virginia is heading home after a series of night shifts when the driver falls asleep at the wheel. His cab drifts into a guardrail, careens back across the interstate, then flips onto its side. Because he's not wearing a seatbelt, he's thrown into the back of his vehicle. The cabbie walks away without a scratch. But after this dramatic turn of events, his boss moves him to a desk job. This car crash is what you might call breaking news. As this reporter files her story, a car suddenly loses control and smashes through a store window. Several customers are almost pinned to the back wall, while others flee to safety. As the woman tries to defend her bad driving, the reporter knows she's got the night's lead story covered. Security cameras on a city bus captured this crash up close and personal. The driver falls asleep at the wheel and drifts over the yellow lines. Luckily, she walks away unharmed. But the next time this driver is feeling sleepy, she may want to take the bus. When a driver at this car wash is asked to back up, he takes things a little too far. His sedan screeches out of the car wash and slams into a wall. But the damage isn't over yet. He throws the car into drive and races back inside, hitting another car. Then he backs up again, ramming into a piece of machinery. He tries to pull free, but he's stuck. This time for good. 3 wrong moves, and this car is a wash. When an officer stops at the scene of a fender bender, he's the one who almost gets rammed. A driver loses control and barrels down on the group. The officer manages to push everyone out of harm's way, but gets clipped as the car speeds by, knocking him to the ground. The patrolman suffers only minor injuries. Luckily, the one thing faster than that speeding car are his reflexes. A suspect outruns police as they engage in a high-speed chase through town. The suspect approaches a cul-de-sac, but the driver isn't ready to surrender. He jumps out of his moving car as it heads towards 2 houses. The female passenger tries the same trick, but is run over by the moving vehicle. Amazingly, she gets up unhurt as the officer runs to her aid. The abandoned car is wedged between the 2 houses, and this pursuit is officially over. Oklahoma City. A suspect leads police, including a veteran officer and his rookie partner, on a high-speed chase.
It was my first chase. As it began, I was really nervous, but I think my number one concern was for the public, because there were so many people there.
This is dangerous. He is passing a truck on the left side. This is unbelievable.
Driving the patrol car, the rookie works hard to remember his training.
Officer Arterberry was so intense and focused on watching everything around him.
Officer Slayton kept telling me to breathe. He don't think I breathed once during the whole thing.
Members of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol go on the offensive.
It looks right now like the OHP officer is trying to bump the back of that car.
Like they spun him out.
He spun out. He's now heading backwards. That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Traveling at a pretty good rate of speed here, at least 80, 90 miles an hour.
He's going to try it again.
They're going to try it again.
I have never seen anything like this.
The Oklahoma Highway Patrol, they did some really great pit maneuvers. Almost every time I've ever seen that done, it has ended the pursuit.
Try as they might to stop him, this criminal seems to have 9 lives.
Okay.
Looks like he may be coming to a stop here.
There we go. It worked. Third time worked. Now he's going in reverse.
They're trying to corral him, but boy.
He is not giving up.
The suspect is back on the road, but not for long.
He's over the curb. He's in the grass. He's hit something that has stopped him.
OHP troopers out, guns drawn, surrounding the car.
And the driver who wouldn't give up is finally taken down.
Even when I look back on it, there's so many things that could have went wrong, and luckily for us, it didn't.
That's one of the best things about being in a pursuit is when you don't put anybody in the public in jeopardy. That's just one of the best things that you can do.
In Bel Air, Texas, officers are in hot pursuit of a 30-ton semi and a driver who'll do anything to escape arrest. An officer tries to stop him with his patrol car, but he's no match against the massive 18-wheeler.
We've got another patrol car about a half-mile down from him setting spikes out.
The mammoth truck veers from lane to lane on the congested freeway.
Law enforcement officers are trying to slow this maniac down in this 18-wheeler. He's trying to force him off the road, as you can see, but the truck is continuing southbound. Here he is. He's coming up on the spikes right now. He's slowing down. He's going to hit the spikes right now. He's trying to avoid them. Don't know whether his right front tire might have hit one.
Up ahead, traffic has slowed to a crawl.
As you can see, there's a patrol car trying to force him off. We've got all the other patrol cars following him in back. He doesn't have too much area to go now. Traffic is backing up on that narrowed lane, so I believe he may either bail right at the Sugar Creek exit, or he's going to run into an awful lot of traffic. Cars are closing in. He's not going to have much room to go.
Trapped on a bridge, this driver has nowhere, shoving another truck and several cars out of his way.
He's trying to push him forward. Look at this. Look at this. Pulling another car on top of another car. Well, officers are shooting at him right now, or at least pointing their weapons at him. There's another patrol car running in front right now, trying to slow him down.
Despite the rapidly deflating tires, the driver rages on.
It's clear sailing all the way down the Southwest Freeway, so it appears that law enforcement will be able to take whatever actions necessary without any possible collateral damage to citizens in the area.
The truck continues to slow, but the driver doesn't give up. So police use more extreme measures to gain the upper hand and shoot out his tires. The truck slows down, but he still won't give up. So police fire at the engine.
They shot enough of his tires out, or at least deflated the tires to the point where he just couldn't get any more traction. You saw that smoke coming up.
The driver, who would stop at nothing to get away, is finally arrested.
That fella just didn't want to stop. He kept running. I think the law enforcement has done an exceptional job.
Fortunately, no one is seriously injured.
As you can see, how much law enforcement hardware has been involved in this chase.
The semi took out everything in its path, but its reign of destruction came to a crashing end. Not all chases have fast cars at breakneck speeds. This hot pursuit involves an angry rider on a motor scooter.
Hey, like this.
Officers try to pull over the suspect. At first, it looks like he's going to cooperate. Then he makes a run for it. As speeds top out at 24 miles per hour, this Hell's Angel wannabe rides down a busy highway and takes a detour into an apartment complex before scooting across the sidewalk and returning to the road. More patrol cars join the chase. Police finally corner the suspect, but he ignores his right to remain silent.
I gave y'all a damn good run on a scooter. Don't go much faster than 25.
And they're going to give you another fine ride to prison. Officers in Westchester County, New York are racing after a 20-foot white stretch limo going 120 miles per hour. The high speeds cause the limo's transmission to blow. But that doesn't stop this persistent suspect. The limo heads backwards onto an on-ramp, then unbelievably drives in reverse on the wrong side of the road. As he approaches a busy intersection, he pulls another incredible move. Next, the limo backs its way onto a residential street. Fortunately, it's empty. When the driver tries to make one more tight turn, it's a dead end for the suspect, who's finally taken into custody. This backwards driver can now look forward to serving hard time. In Southern California, police are after a stolen car. But this is one suspect who's willing to push his luck to the limit.
He's doing 100 miles an hour. He's going to run out of freeway here pretty soon.
His first dangerous move comes when he narrowly squeezes his way through a roadblock.
This guy's going to crash. He's going to crash. He's all over the freeway. And he goes between cars there. Look at him. He's just threading the needle.
Then he heads onto the freeway into heavy traffic.
This guy is all over the roadway.
More cars threaten to slow this guy down. But he strikes again.
He crossed the median. He's at the wrong side of the road. Look how close the Highway Patrol. They are right in behind him. They are not going to let him go anywhere.
Next, he blasts through a crowded crosswalk.
People running through the intersection trying to get out of the way.
Police try to ram him off the road.
Here we go. Pit maneuver, and they hit him.
The SUV loses its bumper and takes out a street sign. But that doesn't slow him down. He returns to the freeway, where he creates his own lane.
Almost hits another car there. This is unbelievable.
Just when officials think he's run out of road, he has other plans.
He's hard on the brakes. Got nowhere to go.
Here they go.
They hit him right there. But look at how he makes it through.
The driver gets off the freeway and barrels through another crowded intersection.
Unbelievably make it through.
But further down the street, he finally goes too far.
There's a train up ahead. Unbelievable. And he hit the tree. He hit the tree. This will be interesting to see what happens here. He's going to come out of the car, and it looks like he's going to try and make a run for it, and he does.
The suspect takes off on foot. He gives officers a run for their money. But it's his luck that runs out this time. For good. A man wearing a bright purple robe does some vivid driving down a city street.
We've got some sort of lunatic going along at a 4-mile-an-hour pursuit here, hanging out the door of his car.
The driver, who has a suspected history of drug use,
Not mind expanding.
taunts officers with a variety of outlandish moves.
His behavior can only be described as bizarre.
Keeping both hands on the wheel clearly isn't a priority for this guy.
It's like he's just going to try and drive away. No. They're not going to let him go.
His behavior gets more outrageous as he dodges police and makes his way onto the freeway.
Okay, speeding up.
Speeds quickly reach 100 miles per hour, but that doesn't slow down his antics.
I don't believe it. If he falls out, he may get run over by his own car. He slowed down to about 85 miles an hour. If you can call that slowing down. If he tries to go for the off-ramp here. Nope.
In his craziest move yet, the driver suddenly pulls off the freeway and nonchalantly wanders into a donut shop. Police rush in and take him down. After an unpredictable day, this chase finally comes to an end.
I don't believe it.
Eagle Harbor, Michigan. Police are on the heels of a pickup truck hauling 2 stolen jet skis. One suspect bails, but the driver has no intention of bailing. A patrol car pulls in front of him to try and slow him down. The suspect fishtails the trailer, which sends one of the jet skis flying. Now, with only one jet ski, the suspect rams the patrol car. But this is only the beginning. The suspect blows through red light after red light after red light. Then races through residential streets like it's the Daytona 500. Plows past stop signs, other drivers, and then takes the chase onto the interstate, where speeds reach 85 miles per hour. When an unmarked police car rams the suspect, the trailer flips, sending the remaining jet ski bouncing along the guardrail and skidding across the highway. The trailer finally breaks free, spreading debris everywhere. A few miles down the road, the suspect is apprehended. And the chase that trashed two jet skis finally comes to an end. A man suspected of carrying illegal drugs leads police on a wild ride through southern Georgia. The chase starts on rural back roads. Next, they move to a two-lane highway.
Going north 188, north 188.
The suspect panics and throws his contraband out the window.
Throwing out a bunch of dope right past the bridge. Bunch of dope in the roadway. It looked like 9 bags.
Having lightened his load, the driver changes directions one more time.
Going Bowl Springs towards 84.
In an effort to box the suspect in, the lead patrol car tries to pass him, but is cut off. He attempts the move again. And again. But the suspect prevents him from taking the lead. Finally, officers succeed in running him off the road. But he's not ready for this chase to end. He races back onto the pavement and... he hits the officer's vehicle, which spins him out of control and right into some trees. Backup arrives, and the suspect is hauled out of the woods and into custody. When this stolen car is stopped for speeding, the suspect and his female passenger wait for the officer to approach. Then they make their getaway. Police are hot on their trail. The driver quickly moves from the interstate to surface streets. As they close in, the driver makes a last-ditch effort to escape. Moments later, the stunned passenger emerges from the wreck. As for the driver's daring leap of faith, it not only lands him on the pavement, it also lands him in the slammer. It's midnight at this closed gas station in Irmo, South Carolina. A thief has his heart set on stealing this ATM. He wraps a chain around the machine and tries to drag it away. But the chain breaks. Plan B involves trying to hoist the ATM into the truck bed, but the machine is too heavy to lift. When the suspect sees a police car coming, he jumps into his truck. And the chase is on. The driver overshoots a turn and takes out a road sign. However, the runaway bandit keeps on rolling. But not for long.
Overturn vehicle.
The truck swerves off the road and into a ditch. It's a failed smash and grab that sends this suspect straight to jail. A raging river isn't going to stop this driver from getting where he wants to go. But it isn't long before he finds himself in hot water.
He's done, dude. He's stuck. He's falling down the river.
Just when it looks like he can't sink any deeper.
It's gonna tip. This truck upside down in the water. Dude, this truck's staying out here.
The driver makes it to the other side. Now what's he gonna do for a ride home?
It's gonna tip.
A car salesman has driven this high-priced sports car off his own lot. Now he's taking it for a private test drive. His buddies follow closely behind him, taping the action as the driver ignores the
fire like a TV show, and that really happened.
But this ride is about to lose all its joy.
Make sure he's okay.
He smashes the back of the car against a tree and spins out. Incredibly, the salesman doesn't lose his job after this. But that once spotless sports car looks like it's headed for the junkyard.
Radio works.
No rules.
Friends take a spin in an empty parking lot. When they get bored doing donuts, they have the dumb idea to pull a prank with some fireworks.
They're going to park right next to him and throw the fireworks on.
But as they make their approach, the result is explosive.
That blow up in the car? I think it did. Look inside. Smoke.
But it's in the car. I can't hear any. Oh, it's on fire. It's my shirt. It's out of the car.
It's on fire right now. Look.
Holy off like right in the middle of the car.
This is a bad idea that blew up in their faces. You might call this crash a real breakthrough. A driver runs a red light and plows through the doors of an oil change center. He avoids sliding into the service pit, then crashes out the other side. And in an instant, this station needs some service of its own. All this impatient driver wanted was a full tank of gas. What he got was a full-on inferno.
911. Yeah, there's a fire down here at Convenient Food Mart at the gas pump. You need to get somebody down here quick.
Surveillance footage shows the driver talking on his cell phone while gassing his car. Exhaust fumes appear to indicate that the engine is still running. The man climbs back into the driver's seat. When he gets out to finish fueling, the driver and the customer behind him barely outrun the explosion.
Is it a car? It's a huge fire at the gas pump.
The fire burns steadily for a few minutes, and then flames spread to the rest of the car. By the time firefighters arrive, both the car and the gas pump are fully engulfed. The blaze causes $20,000 in damage to the gas station and completely guts the vehicle. That's going to burn a hole in his pocket. A driver has illegally parked her expensive sports car halfway on the curb in, of all places, a bus zone. An oncoming car causes this bus to swerve. It slams into the $50,000 vehicle and demolishes a bus stop. That's the wrong way to catch a bus. For a seasoned deputy and his young partner, a routine traffic stop nearly turns deadly.
I pulled over the silver car for speeding, and there were some indicators there that led me to believe that I needed to search the vehicle.
As Williams inspects the trunk, his partner watches traffic, which has slowed due to rubbernecking. Suddenly, he calls out. A white pickup is rear-ended, knocking it off the road and hurling it towards the officer.
I saw the accident about to happen. I just screamed, Gavin.
So I took off running at a 45-degree angle to try to get away from the truck hitting me or my patrol car.
The truck misses Williams by inches. He's unhurt and thankful to be alive.
If it wasn't for my partner being there that day, doing the job that he was trained to do, everything could have turned out different.
I know Officer Williams would have done the same for me.
Just outside of Dallas, Texas, a patrol officer spots a driver speeding in the opposite direction. He pulls a U-turn, then chases the suspect. Without warning, a car stops directly in his path. The officer tries to avoid the sedan. The policeman made a speedy recovery.
Hey, we've got you, all right, brother?
But the speeding car he was chasing got away. A train races to its next destination. A white van speeds along the adjoining lane. The van crosses onto the rails. It's struck by the train, dragged 20 feet, and wrapped around a pole. The van is totaled, but the driver walks away with only minor injuries. Try and beat a speeding train, and you might take the beating. A quiet parking lot suddenly becomes the scene of a freak accident. A sedan loses control on the highway. It jumps the curb and crashes into a parked car, catapulting the driver through the windshield. The driver is thrown into another car and hits the ground. He's alive but lies unconscious on the asphalt. Amazingly, after several long moments, he sits upright. Slowly, he regains his bearings. People rush to his aid and assess the damage. Then, to everyone's astonishment, the driver manages to stand on his own. How the accident occurred is a mystery, but this is one day this man will never forget. This ATV rider is about to attempt the biggest jump of his life. What caused his crash landing? To make his ATV go faster, he removed his brakes. What he learned the hard way is that brakes help control vehicles while they're in the air. The rider's unhurt, but the next time he tries this jump, maybe he shouldn't pull out all the stops.
Here we are.
A father and his son spend the day off-roading on their ATVs. They capture the action on their own helmet cam.
Let's try it downhill, shall we? Dale's going to attempt a little trick here. See how much air he can get.
But that's not all Dale gets.
Oh, Dale! Oh, my God, Dale.
Dale takes off okay, but he doesn't have enough room to stop.
Dale, Are you okay?
Yeah. Maybe not so close this time.
The great outdoors isn't big enough for these thrill seekers. A custom race car is put through the paces on this track. When the car breaks down, the owner decides to tow it home himself behind his SUV, using, of all things, a piece of rope. This homemade tow job kicks into high gear as speeds reach 50 miles per hour.
But I was close.
Even the passengers are aware that this isn't the best idea.
Just to give everyone an idea of how ridiculous this really is, this is me strapped in with a 4-point harness. My dad strapped in 4-point harness.
As the convoy rounds a curve, the steering wheel locks, preventing them from turning.
We just had a bad accident.
With no control over their car, it skids into a ditch and is dragged into a pole. The car suffers 10 grand in damages. And the passengers? Thanks to those racing harnesses, this bad driving didn't land them in the ER. When this driver took his mom's new car to the local gas station, he got more than his fill of excitement.
My father asked me to go to the gas station to fill up a small gas tank for our lawnmower. So I drive over there, get out of the car, start filling up the tank.
As he goes about his business, the car starts to roll forward, but Adam doesn't notice.
It's a hybrid, so it doesn't make noise under 25 miles an hour.
As he continues to fill away, the car picks up speed and vanishes into a ditch.
And I hear a ka-chunk and a ka-chunk, and I think that something happened on the highway. But nothing was there, so I just go back to filling the tank.
Other customers see what happened and attempt to clue him in.
They walked over and they were starting to yell at me, you know, was somebody in there? Is that your car? And I didn't know what they were talking about.
Then Adam turns around.
When I first saw the car was gone, I assumed that it had been stolen.
He quickly realizes the hybrid took a spin without him. Luckily, Mom's new car escapes without a scratch.
I had to pay probably $25 to get it washed, and that was about all the damage that there was.
And Adam? He's learned how to use the parking brake.
When I go to this gas station now, I definitely try and make sure that the car is still behind me. I'm not paranoid about it, but I'm definitely cautious.
And who can blame him? Adam wants to be sure that his car never ditches him again.
A ka-chunk and a ka-chunk.
When this driver tries to haul a tall crane through a narrow tunnel, the driver ignores the sparks flying from under his truck. When the arm jams, the entire crane is ripped off the flatbed. This accident could have been avoided if the driver didn't have tunnel vision. File this one under how not to pass a sobriety test. It all starts with a routine traffic stop.
The reason I'm stopping is you're doing 60 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. Then you came up to that red light and almost ran it.
The officer drives him to an empty parking lot to conduct the test.
Sir, let me get you a step up here in front of my car, please. Careful, don't fall down.
He starts things off simply enough.
Hold your head still, move just your eyes.
Here's where it gets tricky for our slurring suspect.
Let me get you a step under here on my light shining at. I need you to help me out. We're going to make us a line. Can you hold on to the end of that tape for me real tight? That's good. Set that on the ground right there in front. Oh! You all right?
As far as driving while intoxicated, you could definitely say this suspect went over the line.
Oh!
Just when this cop thinks he's seen it all,
Yeah, I gotta call you back. This guy's drunk driving on the street on a golf cart.
he stops a guy who's driving isn't quite up to par.
That's driving license with you? I do till my golf day. How much have you had to drink tonight? Today? Yes, sir. I don't know, about 0.19 between 6 and 7 beers.
This suspect knew that he was too drunk to drive a car, so he decided to borrow this golf cart instead.
I shouldn't be driving a vehicle, of course, when I'm driving a golf cart. What do you mean? You know a golf cart's a motorized vehicle? No. Well, yeah, it's a motorized vehicle, but I don't know. I didn't think it was like a car.
Knowing he's in hot water, the suspect decides to fess up.
I'm not going to with the test or whatever. Okay. I've been drinking, dude. I'm serious. I've been drinking all day. Okay, since about noon. I've probably had anything from 8 to 12 beers.
That's all this officer needs to hear.
I'm going to ask you to turn around and put your hands behind your back. Oh, you're going to cuff me. Yeah, unfortunately I have. That's good.
This driver's real handicap is a lack of common sense. When this driver decides to... Just like he crashed in, he also smashes his way back out. But the driver has no idea what's in store for him next. In the parking lot, he's quickly subdued by mall security. It's a quick shopping trip that lands this drunk driver behind bars. When one man accuses another of cutting him off in traffic, a simple disagreement escalates into a case of full-on road rage.
Call 911, son. Call 911 for me, thank you.
Forget any bad driving. This scene quickly becomes about trash talking.
I'll pop a cap in fast.
Both men are spitting mad. But when one takes out his aggression on the hood of the other's car, the driver finally takes matters into his own hands. Or fist. The punch knocks the guy off his feet. Seconds later, an officer is on the scene.
That guy's got a whole thing.
How are you doing beating on this guy's car? Dude, I ain't man. I saw you. Put your hands behind your back right now.
Lose your cool, and you could find yourself in cuffs. It's called the Critical Mass Bike Rally in Sacramento, California. It's a protest aimed at reducing the number of cars on the road.
The car's killing the pretty flowers!
But one irresponsible driver is about to rain on this rally. This driver, who has her daughter in the passenger seat, jumps the median and plows into the middle of the protest. She runs over a cyclist's foot.
Oh, good, you hit my foot! You're running over him! You're running over his foot! You're running over him! Videotape! Watch me! You're firing!
Then she decides to make a speedy getaway, taking out everything in her path. This driver clearly wanted to make a protest of her own. This angry driver is being pursued by officers in Southern California.
Oh, it looks to be slowing down a little bit.
At first, it seems like she's going to give up quickly. But as police approach, she hits the gas.
Oh, this is a brazen driver.
Minutes later, she pulls over again. But instead of stopping, she drives along the median, then pulls a U-turn.
Oh, my goodness.
She's
to the
heading
front
the
now,
wrong
headed
way.
wrong direction.
And she's not out of dangerous moves yet.
To the front now, headed wrong direction. Oh, my goodness. Look at that.
She changes directions and dodges an oncoming cruiser.
She's doing it again.
Unbelievable. Well, this is just, it's her going into panic mode at this point, too. She doesn't know what to do, is what it looks like.
This could be such a hazardous situation now.
Next, she pulls several 360s. Then stops a few hundred feet ahead of the patrol cars.
Oh, she's angry.
Wow.
She yells at police, then jumps back into her vehicle. Officers try to bring things to an end with a pit maneuver.
There we go.
But all it stops is her bumper.
Look at that.
Unbelievable.
Now she's going to keep going.
The suspect tries another U-turn. But this time, police are wise to her tricks. A second pit maneuver finally brings her to a stop. And she's boxed in by squad cars. Officers surround the vehicle. And this angry driver gets to cool down in jail.